Welcome to episode 3 of the Sneaker Show. In this episode, we're going to be discussing ChatGPT. We're going to check out exactly what it is. We're going to see how it relates to the sneaker world, and we're going to play a game where we try to catch this AI out. If you haven't already, check out all the other Sneaker Show episodes as they are completely different. And guys, please subscribe to the channel, and I hope you enjoyed the video. So, to start off, what is ChatGPT? ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence chatbot. It was created by OpenAI, which was co-founded by Elon Musk and funded by some well-known investors such as Microsoft. ChatGPT was launched in 2022 November. It is one of several examples of generative AI which can produce things like text, videos, or images based on human instructions. Generative Pre-trained Transformer is an artificial intelligence model that can process language and generate human-like responses. Let's ask ChatGPT what it exactly is. Now, some of the keywords that really stick out to me in this description are things like conversations with humans, answering questions, recommendations, open-ended conversations, massive data. The use of reinforcement learning from human feedback is what makes ChatGPT especially unique. AI trainers provide the program with conversations. The program interacts by taking actions and receiving feedback, either rewards or punishments. Through this interaction, it learns to avoid decisions that cause negative feedback, and it tries to make decisions that lead to higher rewards, essentially becoming better at the task. In simpler terms, it uses deep learning to provide human-like responses. Let's run through 3 demo questions. Let's say I'm visiting Paris, I'm 26 years old, I like burgers and I like sneakers. I want a travel itinerary. Let's see what ChatGPT says. As you can see, it's recommended a couple of sneaker shops, although they're just typical retailers. It's recommended some nice touristic attraction sites to visit. It's recommended a bunch of restaurants that sell burgers. So, you know, that took what, a minute or so to generate, and I already have a list of things to do on my holiday. Let's say I want a rap song about sneakers in the style of Tupac. I laced up my kicks, ready to hit the streets. These sneakers on my feet, they make me feel complete. I gotta have my Jordans, my Nikes, my Pumas too. My collection's so fresh, it's like a dream come true. Now, I don't know if that's actually Tupac's style, but if I was to put in another rapper, the style would actually change. So I gotta give it to it. It generated that in, you know, less than a minute. Let's see if it can write me an essay on the Russian Revolution. Now I'm gonna press stop generating, but you guys get the point. This software, this program, this AI tool is revolutionary. It's amazing. The use potential for this program is so wide. Anyone that uses Google can pretty much use this software. Google currently holds 91% market share of the search engine space, and this is a direct challenge to that. Google released their own AI chatbot, but it had a devastating launch, as the advertisement showed the program making mistakes. People can use this program for coding, for assistance in their personal life, like you saw, planning an itinerary, and even for inspiration and creativity. It's a great source of information if you want someone to just bounce ideas off and see if there's something you haven't thought of, which it might, you know, be able to suggest to you. Yeah, so we looked at the specifics of ChatGPT. Now let's see how it interacts with the sneaker world. Since filming the first part of this video, I've had to move to Dubai, and I've got a moving to Dubai vlog, so check that out when it gets released. So the scenery is going to be a bit different, but hopefully the content's still amazing. Let's go. So how does ChatGPT interact with the sneaker world? I want to divide this into 2 sections. First, let's look at consumers. The first thing that comes into mind is bots. ChatGPT can analyze bots' coding and give feedback to programmers on how they can improve it. ChatGPT could give recommendations to consumers on what sneakers they could purchase. Consumers can give, specifics of what they're looking for, what their style is, and ChatGPT could give suggestions of different Jordan models. With information, if you want to learn about the different Jordan silhouettes, if you want to learn about the history of a particular silhouette or the different colorways, ChatGPT can give you the information. It can even help you decide the outfits to wear with a particular shoe. You can speak to it and help you decide if you should pull the trigger on a pair of shoes And if you're a content creator, you could actually ask it for suggestions on content to create. Now, its other interaction with the sneaker world is in terms of business. It could help sneaker companies with the management of their businesses, with their logistical supply chain management, and also in the design of sneakers. ChatGPT can analyze what's been done before and what hasn't, and it could make recommendations to sneaker companies on what designs to produce next. It could also help with their marketing, again, looking at what have consumers responded well to in the past, what's been done, what hasn't been done, and it could just suggest ideas which businesses can use and build upon. Let's ask ChatGPT itself how it interacts with the sneaker world. Amazing, at least it agrees there is some interaction between ChatGPT and the sneaker world. Let's look at what it said. Now, some of the things here we've already touched on, such as providing information about sneakers, answering sneaker related questions, analyzing sneaker trends, personalized recommendations. Let's ask it a similar question, but with a twist. How can ChatGPT help sneakerheads and the culture? Okay, amazing. It has picked up on a couple of things we've already discussed, but two things actually stand out to me. The first one is helping with sneaker authentication. Now, this is a very controversial topic because authenticating sneakers is not a real easy job. Firstly, because fakes are getting really good. Second, real pairs have a lot of inconsistencies. I've actually already made a video on this showing how even between legit pairs, there can be great variances. I wouldn't put a lot of trust yet because I don't think the data it's been trained on will be vast enough to give accurate information on sneaker authentication, but that is something we will be touching on later on. But it's interesting that it has the potential to do this down the line, and it believes it has the confidence to as well. Foster community engagement. Now, I don't know how it's going to do that because it's a chatbot, so you only directly speak to it. So you're not really engaging with other humans. But what's interesting now is you can sit down and engage in sneaker related conversations with it. And sometimes that's what us sneakers just want to do. It can be a great tool for you to learn new things, but also to get some of your opinions out and see what you really think is happening in the sneaker culture and see if this chatbot agrees with you. Now let's twist it up a bit. How can ChatGPT negatively impact sneakerheads and the sneaker culture? Some really interesting answers here. Well, the spread of misinformation, this is something we are going to touch on later on. But yeah, ChatGPT could just give you wrong information. It could encourage unhealthy spending habits. We discussed whether it can help you to pull the trigger or not. But at the same time, it's just a machine, so it could not give you the best financial advice. It could contribute to the hype machine. Now that is also really interesting. I think there is enough hype in the sneaker culture right now that I don't think ChatGPT will push it that much down the line. I think people are just buying a lot of sneakers now. The sneaker culture is booming, and that's beautiful to see. But I think the actual passion and love for sneakers is sometimes clouded by just plain out consumerism. So I wonder if ChatGPT can actually make that a bit worse. That's something interesting to consider going forward. And it can foster a culture of exclusivity. Now that's an interesting one because when you're new to the sneaker culture, you might actually not understand what is limited, what's not. And if the information given on ChatGPT is misleading, you might be actually willing to buy a shoe for an overinflated price just on the belief that it's super exclusive, when in reality it might not be. So I think a lot of the answers is given here can be generalized on a category of misinformation, and I think that's something definitely important to be aware of. Now time for a little game. I want to go against the chatbot and see if I can catch it out. I've got a couple ideas. I remember the first question we asked it about the interaction of the sneaker world and ChatGPT. I want to quiz it on its own answers and see if it can provide anything else and see if we can catch it out. It's given some, additional interesting answers, generating sneaker related content, something I previously mentioned, but it's interesting to see it being flagged here. Language translation for sneaker related communication. That's just plain out translation. It's got not much to do with the sneaker world. Analyzing customer feedback. Again, something quite general. Sneaker design inspiration, that's something we also touched on. And virtual sneaker try-on, I don't think ChatGPT has the capability to do this yet. And it is just being overly confident, but I want you to remember this point because it's something we're going to be touching on. Let's see if it's got anything else. Great, it's given a couple more suggestions. Let's see if it can give anything else. Now the tool is digging in real deep. I really like some of these responses. They're a lot more niche. So sneaker-based financial advice, sneaker-based health and fitness, sneaker-based augmented reality, sneaker-based music, that's something we looked at earlier on in the show. And sneaker-based philanthropy. I want to see if it will tell me when it runs out of ideas, or will it start repeating itself. Sneaker-based sustainability, sneaker-based travel, sneaker-based fashion, sneaker-based art. It's slowly starting to get a little bit repetitive, you know, sneaker-based community building. That is very similar to sneaker-based social media. And if you look at the description, it talks about a platform for sneaker enthusiasts. Some interesting ideas there about sneaker-based sustainability, but let's see if there's anything else. Let's really push it. Again, it's provided 5 more responses. It's taken a while to generate these responses, so I think it's probably having to think a bit longer for these. But again, still quite impressive. It's given answers that are, you know, are quite unique. I mean, you could argue that they link to some of the previous answers, but they are self-standing answers. So I got respect it here. What I was trying to do is see if it would start to repeat itself. Let's try 2 more times. Sneaker-based virtual events, interesting. Sneaker-based marketing, something we touched on. Finally, it started to crack. At number 33, we have sneaker-based product recommendations. Now, this was already mentioned as the 4th suggestion of how the 2 worlds interact. Personalized recommendations. Yes, the wording is slightly different, but it is pretty much the same. I think we've stretched ChatGPT's brain capacity. Let's see if we can crack it a little bit more. Now, this new batch of information really took a nosedive in the impressiveness of the responses. We are seeing quite a few repeated already. The first one, sneaker-based augmented reality. This was already mentioned. Health and fitness, already mentioned. Music, already mentioned. And sneaker-based philanthropy, already mentioned. We have finally managed to crack down ChatGPT. Let's see if we can engage in it with a more sneaker-specific conversation and see if its responses are as impressive. Let's first start off a bit light. We're gonna ask it the same questions, but ask it to relate it to Jordans specifically. I mean, Jordan-based trivia, yeah, I guess so. Jordan-based sneaker release information. I think what it seems to be doing is just repeating the same things and just adding Jordan-based at the beginning. It's a bit of a cop-out. But let's give it another go. Let's give it another go. Jordan-based sneaker authentication, Jordan-based sneaker recommendations. It's just repeating itself. I wasn't sure what it was gonna give, but I thought maybe it could engage a bit more with Jordan culture. You know, Jordan brand has such a rich culture and such a rich history. I thought maybe it could give it a couple answers a bit more specific to that, but it has let me down here. So I think this was an area where the chatbot exposed some weaknesses. Its answers kept saying it's good with recommendations. So let's have a conversation with it and see if we can catch it out. Let's ask it, in its opinion, what are the best Jordan 4s to ever release? I mean, I know it's just a machine, so it's hard to have opinions, but I want to catch out the information it gives and see if it's flawed in any way. It's listed a couple of the most popular Jordan 4 colorways. Let's see what else it can recommend. Okay, interesting. Let's ask it a question on why did it not recommend the Oreo 4s. Now, the Oreo 4s are not a personal favorite of mine, but I'm just curious to see what it says. Really weird, it says that this shoe has been retroed in 2015 and 2021. As many of you know, in 2021, we didn't see a retro, we saw a whole new Oreo version. It was completely different to the original 1999 pair and the 2015 pair. So I want to quiz it on that and see if it actually knows the difference. Is the version that released in 2021 the same as the one from 2015? Whoa. Well, now it's just making things up. First of all, the 2021 version does not feature a black nubuck upper, and the 2015 pair did not have any suede on it at all. I had this pair. It was a full leather shoe. So 2 mistakes there. And it also says that they were the same color and overall design. I mean, the similarities in terms of being the same silhouette are there, but the colorways are different. I'm sure the materials are different. So again, I think in terms of recommendations and in terms of really understanding the wide variety of Jordan brands offering, it's still not there, but it did attempt to give a response. If I'm honest, I would have thought that would have been quite easy to pick up on because one is black and the other one is white. So we've caught it out again. We could ask it many different things. You know, we could talk about the early days of Jordan brand developing and how Michael Jordan signed
to Nike and we can see if it's aware of the factual accuracies of that story. We could ask about the different colorways that Jordan Brand has released and see if it be accurate. But I think we've already caught it out a few times and we understand the limits of its information. Before we evaluate and discuss some of the shortcomings of ChatGPT, I want to discuss OpenAI's new version of ChatGPT called ChatGPT4. It claimed that this new version has broader general knowledge and problem-solving abilities, advanced reasoning capabilities, it's meant to be safer, it's more likely to ignore disallowed content, and has a stronger sense of ethics. It's claimed that the system will politely decline to perform tasks such as ranking races by attractiveness and telling sexist jokes. And a massive upgrade is that users can now upload images and ChatGPT can process those images. However, ChatGPT4 is limited to their premium users on their subscription membership. Now I want to talk about some of its weaknesses. Now the weaknesses I'm about to discuss also apply to ChatGPT4. One of its biggest weaknesses is that its knowledge is only up to September 2021. Meaning it's not live. Its responses cannot fully evaluate what's happening in the world now and may be outdated. Secondly, its responses may contain factual inaccuracies and there may be certain math problems it cannot solve. Its responses are only as accurate as the data it's been trained on. You never quite know when the model is in touch with reality and not overconfidently hallucinating. And even with the new update, the problem is it's still not live, so it cannot be fully accurate. Thirdly, it's not general artificial intelligence yet. 4, as we saw, its responses can be repetitive and it doesn't even realize. The 5th reason is that it may be used for nefarious things. However, it is regularly updated to avoid this. A contentious area in the sneaker world is bots. Many believe they should be illegal and it's simply viewed as a way of cheating consumers and forcing them to pay crazy resale prices. If you are using ChatGPT to improve your bots, that could be considered quite unethical, which leads us on to the next point. ChatGPT is not able to ethically analyze its responses and it does not have a good sense of ethics. It may be programmed to avoid certain things, but nevertheless, it can never fully be in touch with morality and fully understand ethics, which arguably, that is a challenge for some humans as well. 2 final things. Sources are not provided with his responses, so it's hard to actually check the validity of some of his responses. And finally, the environmental risk. A lot more energy is required to generate ChatGPT responses than typical Google searches. Maybe in the future, we'll see ChatGPT benefiting the sneaker community and contributing to it in the following ways. First, resale predictions. As it stands, ChatGPT cannot understand the resale value of some Jordans that have come out. I tried to quiz it on, 2 shoes that had a very wide difference in their resale values. The Shad backboard and the gym red ones. One is going for around 1.5k, one is around like 250, 300 pounds. But ChatGPT wasn't able to engage in conversation with me and understand that one is more valuable than the other. So there's hope that maybe one day it can comment on the resale value of some previous releases and then also maybe give its opinion on how future releases will perform as well. May be able to give live updates of sneaker shops in your community. It may actually be able to help with sneaker authentication. Now, like I said before, this is a very hard area to confidently give an answer on. But I think with continued data and really training the program and have the program and the chatbot having many conversations where it's giving opinion and is looking at multiple different pictures and analyzing the different discrepancies and considering various different pieces of information, it might be able to give a bit more of an educated response on the authenticity. And finally, with raffles, it can assist corporations with what are the best ways to conduct raffles and also helping consumers search for the raffles in their local areas. So that is ChatGPT in a nutshell. The sneaker culture seems to be isolated from everything else at times, but I just wanted to show you that real life events actually impact the sneaker culture as well, and I hope I've made that connection super clear to you guys. This is still a developing area and definitely an interesting area to keep an eye on. Please don't forget to check out the rest of the channel. Got lots of sneaker content and lifestyle videos there and lots of more content on the way. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and share the video, and until next time, thank you.